Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fin Factor. My name is Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And this is episode 153. Aaron, it has been approximately a millennia since we've done a show here.
It's been a while, yes.
You want to tell the people, I mean, why has it been so long, really?
Well, we kind of go on a summer hiatus, and we've got very small children doing lots of things. So we are very busy during the summer, even though we're not doing shows. So we kind of take a break and come back nice and refreshed. Kind of like, I think Randy goes off to Mexico every year or something to refresh himself. We didn't quite go there, but
the simpler answer is we just didn't make playoffs, so we just took some time off. So
right. Sorry.
Man, has a whole lot happened since the last time we did a show together. I know you did a show with Corey Masisek from The Athletic, you yourself and you, I guess, with him. But yeah, for the two of us being back here, it's great to be right back in front of our audience as we normally have. But again, lots of big changes the Sharks have gone through, most notably, of course, a lot of stuff going on in the front office. GM, this is old news, but let's kind of hash out a little bit of it. GM Doug Wilson no longer at the helm. Joe Will had replaced him for a brief amount of time there, and they brought in Mike Grier. Your initial thoughts on Mike Grier as the new GM here? I think so far I'm enjoying it, but I'd like to know what you think.
I like what he's doing, and I like that his kind of background. Like he doesn't have quite experience as the GM, but he was in the office in New York with the Rangers, so he has experience being around it. He's a very smart guy. There's so many people that have praised him when he got hired, or even through the process. And I believe it was Jonathan Becker had mentioned it when he got hired. During the process, they had called and talked to Chris Drury, who is the GM in New York, and he basically like gave him the best recommendation that you could possibly give. And they're like, okay, yeah, we have our guy. We're going to go with Mike Grier. And it's fantastic. And he's a former Shark, which is cool. I don't think it was a necessity, but I think it brings kind of a cool factor and a familiar factor into to bringing him back into the fold with the Sharks.
Absolutely. I just want to call out a couple quick comments here. Neil saying, been dying to see you guys stream. It's been a while. It has been a very long time, Neil. Thank you for sticking with us and being with us on our first day back here. Taylor, oh, hello, boys. Long time no see. Yes, absolutely. Been quite a while. And then Matt, welcome back. Hey, thank you, Matt. We appreciate that. And welcome back to you as well. We love having all our regulars coming back into the fold here. So my thoughts on Mike Grier here. One of the things I noticed, there's been a lot more emphasis on player development. They've added a lot of folks, a lot of positions even that they didn't have before, mostly dealing with working with players, player development, scouting, that kind of thing. So there's a lot more going on that maybe hints more towards building internally as opposed to kind of what's been happening in the past with the Sharks, where we would go and find a player, make that trade. I've always been a fan of that. Take your first and go get somebody who is a known good, and go ahead and make that trade. But it seems like they're more interested in kind of building from within. I like it. I'd love to see, in a couple years how this team looks, how strong they'll look. But of course, that's getting ahead. For the now, I think it's great that they're investing so much more in terms of player development and whatnot. And again, that is what Mike Grier is bringing here. Another thing I like about Mike Grier was he kind of came out all guns blazing on this whole thing going on with the Czech Republic, not granting visas, or saying at least that they're not going to be granting visas to Russian players. And, he comes out like a boss and says, hey, either we all go or no one goes. I think that's just a really strong standpoint for the new guy at the helm here.
Yeah, and they're going to be leaving here in about a week to go. So it's kind of like put up or shut up. We're going to see what's going to happen if they clap back at not so much Grier, but the NHL for, if they're going to bring in those players. So it kind of sucks. It puts them in a bad spot. And I understand like the war is awful. They shouldn't be doing anything, but the players don't really have anything to do with it. It's not like, Russia is such a different, we don't have to go into this topic, but, talking bad about Russia does not bode well for you or your family. So I think what maybe they're looking for is some of the Russian players to stand up against it, just putting pressure on them and also indirectly into Russia. But I almost think like, okay, they're probably, maybe they just need a little greased action here. The NHL needs to, slip them a 20 under the table and be like, okay, here, just let our boys play, and we'll make a donation towards the cause and make a big to do about it, and maybe come out and say something. Which who knows what'll happen. But yeah, it's a really bad situation. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. Though you're getting the Czech players like Hurdle saying, and Shimmick, we support our teammates. It doesn't matter if they're Russians or not. And it is kind of crazy to say, just because they're Russian, that it has something to do with the war. It's two different animals. So I like that. The team is staying gelled, staying together, and all that's kind of glued together by Mike Grier's comment there. So it's promising from I guess that whole locker room standpoint, right? You want that locker room to gel together and kind of be as one. So that's a really good sign. I wouldn't imagine that they would say it any other way, frankly, but it's promising nonetheless. I do want to call out a couple other comments here. Sonic Tonic, missed you guys. Let's see if I got one from before that. No. Zach Croft, welcome back, boys. Hey, thank you, Zach. Sanchez 32, been waiting for this. Been waiting myself as well, buddy. Trust me. Hello, everyone. Anthony Sanchez, Aaron and Paul no longer have to worry about shoes being thrown anymore. We will get to that, my friend. Thank you so much. And with a lot of other comments here, we'll keep going, and we'll get those comments in. If you guys have any questions that you want to bring up about the topics we're bringing up, feel free to fire those away, and we'll get to them as we can. Now, we talked a little bit about the front office. Aaron, new head coach, deservedly so. I mean, I guess I can't put a whole lot of blame on Bob Boughner, but you know what? It's nice that if we're going to go through this whole revamp, we're going to get a new head coach, and we're going to go after a guy who's got some experience as well. So they bring in formerly the head coach of the New York Rangers, Coach David Quinn. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the guy. I know he certainly likes to make the players work. That's kind of been the book on him. Do you know anything special about this guy whatsoever? What's your read on him?
He was coaching before the Rangers. He was coaching in collegiate level. I think it was, I can't remember if it's BU or if it was the other Boston team. But so he actually coached some of the Sharks players that played there. So some of them are familiar with him. Apparently he's a very, I don't want to say hard-nosed, like he's not quite like Tortorella, but he commands respect and plays a lot of his bigger name players. I mean, if you ask some Ranger fans, they'll say, "Oh, he was terrible with the young guys," but he was fair. That's the thing. He wasn't like Lafreniere and Capo. That guy.
Capo.
Yeah. Like he wasn't like gifting them ice time. They had to earn it. So yeah. I think a lot of people were kind of turned off by that. But we'll see what he does here. Now, going back to Boughner, the only problem I had with him firing was the timing. That was really bad. It was so late. They should have done it months before, probably when the season ended. Give him chance to get another head coaching job, because that carousel just goes around like crazy in the summer. He was fortunate to be. He's now Detroit, I believe, right? Assistant coach in Detroit. So he did land himself a job, but that was kind of unfortunate. But I do understand. I mean, imagine if Boughner was still here and it's his last year of his contract. That's the only thing people would talk about and ask Grier about the entire season. It would be such a huge distraction. So good for them to finally do it, and terrible timing, but I think it needed to be done. I had nothing against Boughner. He was getting the most out of what he could, because he was handed a bunch of poop and here, mold this and make it better. So you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. And now David Quinn, I mean, Grier's bringing in some different guys that he keeps emphasizing they were, like when he got rid of a few, like Balsers was bought out, right? Some of these guys, like they just weren't Grier's guys, as I guess he likes to say. So you're going to see a different kind of Sharks team going forward. They're going to be okay. Imagine, I was thinking about this earlier today. When the Sharks were terrible in the early 90s and the late 90s, they were at least entertaining because they would hit hard and work hard. And I think that's the direction they're going. They're getting all the guys that are going to work hard and hit hard. So the Sharks may not be putting up a lot of wins, but they will be very entertaining to watch because they will beat up on other teams.
Nice. I want to call out a couple more comments here. Taylor, getting a little musical here. Hello, Sharkness, my old friends. Well done. Anthony Sanchez throwing a happy belated birthday to Zach. Thank you, Zach. Or sorry, thank you, Anthony, and happy birthday, Zach. And then Nicholas Egan, hey, there he is. Welcome back, fellas. Yeah, it's been a long time, Nick. Thanks for joining us on our return tour here as we enter our, what is this, 5th season now?
I think they're 5th.
I think it's the 5th one. Oh
yeah.
My goodness, man, we're getting old. So speaking of getting old, there's a situation that got old last season, and I'm so glad that we are done finally with the situation. Of course, I'm not talking about Jersey Shore. I am talking about Evander Kane. It's over, Aaron. We had talked about it before. Yes, we had talked about it before that, it's over, but we'll probably end up bringing it up again for some reason. Something's going to happen. We've heard the quote in news before. Somebody quoted us saying Evander has to just going to Evander. But it's over now. It's from the Sharks' perspective, at least, it's over. They have settled. It's a simple payout of just $2.5 million, and there is absolutely no cap penalty going forward. Funny thing, there's a cap penalty retroactive to last season. It doesn't affect anything, though, as in terms of going forward. There's no penalty that would lump over to the next season. So just kind of interesting that they did that. I don't know if that was kind of their only way that they could slap Sharks on the wrist for something. I don't know. But anyway, that situation is over. But your final thoughts.
I think the Sharks got very lucky in that they retroactively put the cap hit to last year. I think part of the reason they probably ruled it this way is because he did sign a new contract. So it's not like he's sitting at home waiting to play and can't play and nobody wanted him. So I think that's part of it. And the $2.5 million is the difference between what the Sharks owed him and what he signed with Edmonton. So no cap hit whatsoever is unbelievable. The Sharks, I think, dodged a huge bullet and didn't have to buy him out. So even better, he's completely off the books and done. I think the retroactive thing, they did it because they probably wanted to give some kind of cap hit, at least on paper. And so they could, because other GMs are going to hit back at it and be pissed. So I think this is their way of settling it kind of, we did do something. Now imagine at the Sharks, what if they were at the cap limit last year? It wouldn't have worked. Right. So,
right.
So it's just interesting ruling, but I'm happy to be done with it. And I'm happy that we could no longer need to talk about it on the show. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
The 2.5. And now if it was my 2.5 million, maybe I'd be a little upset about it. But frankly, as a fan, the only thing I care about is the cap hit, and there is none. So as far as I'm concerned, who cares what they paid them? It doesn't affect you going forward. Yes, absolutely. Hallelujah. And actually, Taylor did say hallelujah in the chat there. I want to call that one out. However, the Sharks do lose, a big part of the offense. Lots of goals, lots of physical play. But he was just one player that brought all of that. And then the guys that were filling in a lot of the roles were guys coming up from the AHL that weren't quite ready. One of the things that, again, I think Mike Grier has done a phenomenal job so far is bringing in players that can be role players that are kind of on that depth side, maybe have some goal upside to them as well, but they've been in the league. They've been there, done that, and they're ready for it, if you will, because they've already been there. So among the new forwards that they brought in, Oscar Lindblom is a pretty big name from a couple seasons ago. He's kind of fallen off a bit, but they're hoping he can make a little bit of a resurgence here. Luke Kunin and, of course, Nico Sturm just got done winning Stanley Cup with Colorado. So they brought in some guys that can score some goals here and there. Maybe not as many as Evander Kane, but maybe collectively about that many. Who knows? And then, they're physical. They're hardworking. They're Grier's guys, right? These are the types of guys I think they want to bring in so that they make the Sharks a little bit more difficult to play against. I think the argument can be made that, while Bugner wanted to make them tougher and better on defense, that the guys that he was working with, as you said, you can only put so much lipstick on a pig, right? And they just couldn't get the job done from a physical standpoint. They couldn't bang, they couldn't be intimidating, and they certainly weren't scoring the goals. There was no depth there. So bringing these guys in, again, you tend to do all the fantasy hockey stuff, so you know these guys from beforehand. Give me a little bit on each one of these players, why Sharks fans should potentially be a little excited about these guys.
I'll start with Oscar Lindblom. He's a guy that was kind of a higher round draft pick a couple years ago. He was starting to put it together, and then he got cancer, and so he had to go through treatments, and he missed I think almost a full season. Then he came back, and he basically played 2 seasons since he had all of his treatments. He wasn't quite back to normal. Imagine going through cancer treatments, and then like Marlon Mew did it. It's just not quite. It's going to take a while for your body to get back into that shape. I mean, you take off some time, and you're wreaking havoc with your body with all that stuff. It's not good. So I think he's got something to prove. He was kind of in a situation that he kind of needed a new start somewhere. So I think Philadelphia loved him. The fans really loved him. He was such a good dude. So I think it's a very low cap it. I think it's only $2 million, and he's a guy that could potentially be in the top 6. So he, yet again, another player that is kind of that third line on a good team, but probably on the second line on a bad team like the Sharks. So he's a guy that can come in there, but he's going to be able to jump in and play. So it'll be good to see him succeed and hopefully get kind of a good deal there. Kunin's another hard worker, and these guys are hardworking players too. Like they're very responsible in their own end. So they play a 200-foot game. So these guys, Luke Kunin's another one. I think he's going to be more of a third, fourth line guy. Nico Sturm, I think he's going to be the fourth line center. And he comes with a lot of experience. He just won a cup. So to me, what Grier is doing is what I think he's doing is he's protecting the youth. He wants all the young prospects that will eventually be in the top 6, instead of playing third and fourth line minutes in the NHL and getting, killed every night. They're going to be the guys at the AHL level, really kind of brew them and get them really, really ready with, because AHL is still professional hockey. It's a very good league. And if you can dominate and succeed at that level, you should have success at the next level, which would be the NHL. So I think we're very fortunate because we have tickets to the Barracuda this year in their new arena, which we'll talk about later. But that team the Barracuda is going to be good. And the Sharks, like I said earlier, they're going to be a hardworking, hard-hitting team, and they will be very entertaining to watch. I think they will be scoring more goals. A lot of these guys that came in have NHL experience. They're not rookies. I mean, I forget what the stat was, how many rookies had played in the lineup for the Sharks the last 2 seasons? It was like 15 or something like that, right?
I don't know the exact number, but it's just a revolving door that we've talked about before. And the thing is, with these 3 forwards, at least that we're talking about here, they're not going to get sat and replaced with a guy from the AHL because they're not working hard enough, right? That these 3 guys are going to hold their roster spots because they're working hard. That's what Mike Grier wants. If they get replaced for anything, it'll be because they think maybe one of the prospects can come up and help with some goal support. It's not going to be because one of these guys isn't working hard enough, for sure. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see, how hard these guys are going to go for it. And I think it's going to have an impact on the goals against. I think when you have forwards buying into, putting bodies on guys early, it's a lot more difficult for that team to come up the ice. We always talk about defense, and the forwards need to help the defense out. These guys, I think, are the ones that are really going to help do that. So I'm very excited about that. But as you said, also very excited to see the Barracuda in the brand new arena. We'll talk about that later. But that team, assuming nobody gets called up, that team is going to just, I think, be very, very fun to watch, very entertaining.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's creating competition at every position. So you get hardworking guys, and up against a skilled guy that's not quite as hardworking, they're now going to bust their butts off because they know that their roster spot is not a given anymore. So it's going to ripple effect through the entire lineup. It's going to be good.
Yeah. One guy who I didn't think would have a roster spot necessarily because he didn't even sign a contract till later on. Noah Gregor. Now, here's the thing with Noah Gregor, Aaron. As you recall, last season, we had a bit of a bet going on with Noah Gregor. Now, I can't hit you with a pie virtually. It's just not going to work, okay? But we had said the over-under for him was 10 goals, essentially, right? So 9.5. So if he got to 10 goals, you win. If he doesn't, I win. Clearly, you made the wrong decision, okay? And so you need to listen to Daddy Paul here for next time around. Be careful, because now I see you've got the notes here. Now, you guys don't see it, but we do have some notes on the side of the screen. Over under on 15 goals and or 30 points. See, Aaron, I'm not about to do that at the beginning of the season. I went with, see, Nick says it right there. We want pie. I'm not about to do it at the beginning of the season. This guy might have a great bounce back and do it. Awesome. I made that prediction because I'd already seen what he was and what he was going to be for the rest of it. And somehow you didn't see that, which is okay. So I'm curious. I want to throw it into the chat real quick here. Noah Gregor, boys and girls, under over. Okay. 15 goals, 30 points. Where do you think he's going to be as the season goes by? Do you think that he's going to actually hit the net, or do you think he's going to hit post after plexiglass? I remember this is the guy that I think they said it sounded like he was doing it on purpose. He was looking for rebounds off the glass or something. I don't know if that was the real deal or not, but anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Put that in the chat. And then Aaron, I'm not going to make any bets with you, but I am curious what you think is going to happen with Noah Gregor this season. Does he improve on the 9 or 8 or whatever it was goals that he got last season? And if so, by how much?
I think he'll hit the over 15 goals. And I said or 30 points because if he gets 10 goals and 30 points, that means he's getting assists. So
sure,
30, he's involved in 30 goals. How about that? That makes sense?
Okay.
So yeah. Scoring or assisting. I think he's putting it together. I think towards the end of the last season, the last 2 weeks or so, he really put it on and was starting to put it together. And he has elite NHL speed. He has to work on his shot, obviously, but he had something to work on over the summer. I think the way, if you look at his metrics, there's no possible way he is a 2% NHL shooter. There's just no way. There's no way. So, I mean, even if that's, you go up to like 6%, like it's triple, right?
Yeah.
So I think he was he was right behind Timo Meier, I think, in possession over taking the puck over the blue line and keeping possession into the zone instead of just dumping it in. So I think he's going to put it together. He's going to have better line mates than he did. So I think he's going to be able to put it all together with his line mates and start scoring goals.
So Taylor said just now. Depends who he plays with, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, I don't remember exactly what his line was last season, but I'm pretty sure who he played with was probably not somebody who really, really, really belonged in the NHL at all times. So, and then Taylor also says Noah Gregor, 15 goals, 15 assists this season, 30 points. So. Nicholas Egan over 15. That shooting percentage was abysmal last year. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So
yeah, I think
I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll come back to this.
I wouldn't say 20 goals. I'd be very happy if he got 20 goals. That would be amazing. And because I think he could be, that's his potential to be like a 20 goal third line winger that can get you 15 to 20 goals. That would be amazing. Every team would want that. And I feel like
it would be amazing.
That's what I think he could be. Plus a penalty killer.
Yeah, no, it would be amazing. I would even use the word unbelievable because I don't believe it. Anyway, so moving on from Noah Gregor, not quite as big of a name as Noah Gregor, but certainly the amount of controversy here. Brent Burns, Burnsy,
big of a name,
my dude.
Get out of
here! It's traded to Carolina. I obviously this is old news. Fans know about this, but we never got a chance to talk about it. So it's the first note we have here, Aaron, is a positive one. Good for him, right? He deserved to go to a team that's really got a shot, and it's not going to happen with the Sharks this season. We know that. We could tell from the last few seasons kind of where this team has sat, and big name players like that are just not going to get us over the top, over the hump. As much as I would like that to happen, it's just not going to. So again, good for him. I'm happy that Brent Burns gets the opportunity to go and chase the cup because, he looks at, his friend in Joe Thornton, who actually might be getting a PTO with the Sharks, who knows, but he looks at his friend Joe Thornton and he's like one of the best players of all time. First ballot for sure. Once he gets, induct or gets the, put to the Hall of Fame there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't, I don't want to say you don't want to end up like that because that makes it sound really dire, but you don't want to end up like that. You want your playing days to mean something. When you're younger, no big deal, fine. But when you're kind of getting to the end of it here, it's go time. It's time to chase that, and you got to go with whatever team you can. And the Sharks just aren't it right now. So he goes to Carolina. Clearly, he had to accept that because of his contract. He only had 3 teams, I think, that he could have gone to. I doubt Carolina was on it in the first place, but he accepts the trade. And, it's, again, for me, good for him. So give me your initial thoughts on this. Were you happy to see him go? Happy with the return? Were you kind of just sad in general? I mean, obviously it makes good business sense, but there's some heart that goes into it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I mean, you can ask who is it in here whose wife throws
Anthony
the shoe.
Sanchez.
Yeah. I've been saying the Sharks should trade Burns for maybe 3 seasons now. It's been a while. I like him. It's not that I don't like him. I think he's a great player and he has a lot to give to a team. I mean, you see in the way his work ethic and his eating, like his nutritional ethic, if you will, top notch. Nobody's better than him. And that's the reason why he's 37 years old and still playing and leading the league in minutes, which is just bananas. He's going to be great on Carolina. Carolina is going to get better. And it's unfortunate the return. I think I would have loved better. I was hoping for maybe a first round pick. That was maybe, something would probably have to go back to Carolina, like a third round or something, but at least getting a first round pick, but it didn't happen. Yeah. But the Sharks ended up retaining a little bit of salary. That's just the way it goes. And I don't think it's going to be that as big of a deal as people think, because I think that cap is going to be going up over the next couple of years. So it won't be as bad. It's better than buying him out and having him stuck on the books for even longer for more money. And on a personal note, it's great for him to go get a cup, and Carolina is a very good team. So Carolina had, what's his name from the Rangers, is a right-handed shot, Tony DeAngelo. They ended up, I think they traded him to Philadelphia. So they had an opening for a right-handed defenseman, shooting defenseman. So it was a perfect fit for them. The salary made sense because they're pretty much right up against the cap. And I'm happy for him. Carolina, I've always liked Carolina. I think their marketing department is one of the best in the NHL because they just like to clown and troll and have fun with it in a fun way. I think they do it right over there. I think he's going to enjoy it. And it's also crazy that the Carolina Hurricanes are opening up, or the Sharks are opening their home opener against Carolina. So Brent Burns will be back, which will be crazy. That'll be a very emotional tribute in the very beginning of the game, I'm sure. So that'll be a fun night. Obviously, opening night's great, but then you also have Brent Burns coming back, so it's gonna be really, really great.
Yeah, I'm sure not unlike Marlowe's return and Thornton's return. Those, big deal. And for anybody who's going to be going to that game, I'm not sure if I will be able to or not, but for anybody who's going to be going to that game, obviously, very special. Get your cameras out because it'll be a good one. So the other side of this coin with Brent Burns now is the question I wanted to pose: is this the kickstart? Is this the catalyst for Erik Karlsson? Is this what he needs to get back to form, to take over that role entirely, not to share it with anybody else? I'm top dog on defense in terms of offensive defenseman. I'm the guy that the offense runs through on the blue line. Is this what he needs to kind of get back to form, back to what Erik Karlsson is? And before you answer that question, I do want to ask everybody in the chat to go ahead and, I see you want to do roll call here, though. Do you want this to be the roll call question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we're going to do a roll call right now. I want you guys to tell us where you're watching us from, not kitchen or bedroom or whatever, but which city you're watching us from. And then, is this good for Erik Karlsson? Is Brent Burns being off the team now what Erik Karlsson needs to get back to being Erik Karlsson? Now, I will say this. I did see, I think it was a tweet or something like that, where it was Karlsson racing with Timo Meier. And he beat him down the rink, and 2 times that they went, and got in front of him, stick up, took the puck away. So it looks like he's got his legs, he's got his skating looking really good, real fast, and his edge work and his ability to control with the stick and his vision and everything. It's all very, very good. The question of him, of course, has always been about the amount of games played for him. So he's always tends to be, getting injured and whatnot. So I guess, again, is this what he needs? Okay. Is this good for him? And then regardless of whether it's good or not, is it going to matter? Because is he going to be in the lineup?
Are you asking me now?
Think? I'm asking you.
I think this is exactly what he needed. This is the main reason I wanted Burns to get traded. Karlsson obviously is a little bit more injury prone than Burns is, but I think the way Karlsson plays, I like better. I think he makes the team better than if it was just Burns, if that makes sense. So if it was either just Karlsson or just Burns, I'd rather have just Karlsson because he is better handler with the puck, skates it, dances on the blue line, makes plays, finds open seams. I think his passing is better than Burns. Burns is more power and finesse, and Karlsson's more finesse and I would say speed, maybe better skating. So they are
craftiness.
They're different beasts, right? And they're also the type of defenseman that will play 30 minutes, and you can't have two of them because then they're only going to play 24 minutes each, and it's just not enough, And then going to the power play, having them both on the same power play, now you have two defensemen instead of having one with four forwards. It wasn't working. We always wanted Burnsy out, in the Ovechkin area in the office to shoot, and they started doing that, but it wasn't working. So I think now that Karlsson's probably going to be playing a minute 45 of the 2-minute power plays, like he's going to be out there all the time, and he'll get into a rhythm more, I think. So I think it's going to be better, and I'm hoping that Karlsson can stay healthy. I mean, some of those injuries are just kind of bad luck. Yeah. But some of them, like when you get soft tissue injuries like groins and stuff like that, that's a conditioning thing. Like that's avoidable normally. Not always, but normally. So if he can get rid of the soft tissue injuries and, if he breaks a bone, that's a different story. But I think he can stay healthy and he'll play. I think he's never played more than 56 games for the Sharks in the season. So if he can play 70 games, that's giving him 12 games off. I think it's a huge win.
I'm going to go out on a limb again this season and probably be wrong. And I'm going to say he plays well over the 56 games. I think he has a minor injury, but he comes back in like a week and he just plays. So yeah, I'm hoping, crossing my fingers. Who knows? I do want to call out Taylor here saying he's watching from the throne. Clearly he's in England right now. That's what he's referring to. Sonic downtown San Jose. He's saying, sad, but referring to Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson. It seems like the general consensus here is that yes, it will be better for Brent Burns. I'm sorry, for Erik Karlsson, that Brent Burns has been shipped off and moved on. Nicholas Egan saying his new hometown, that's where he's watching from, San Jose, welcome, and that Erik Karlsson will be better for the 50 games he plays this season. Nick, I'm telling you, it's going to be more than 50, okay? So, what do you think, Aaron? What do you think is the over-under on him? You say 56 still, or are you going, I heard you say 70.
I would be happy with 70. So, over-under, I would say maybe 65 games. Okay.
I'm going to say over 65. I'm going to say over
65, right?
Okay, 65.
65. Right. I mean, I'm hopeful, so I'll say over. I'm sure everyone else is going to say under.
I do see a comment here from Taylor again saying, do we see an improvement in overall team defense? No disrespect to Burns, love him. But with only one offensive defenseman instead of two, do we see improved numbers on overall defense? Now, here's the fun part. I'm glad you brought this up because we've got a whole little section here about defense, and there is quite a logjam because really the only two that are top four, what everyone's been calling top four defensemen on the San Jose Sharks is Erik Karlsson, along with Mario Ferraro. Beyond that, it's kind of a logjam of like the role's open. Who wants to take it, right? So that you said only one offensive defenseman. It's not inconceivable that Ryan Merkley ends up making the NHL roster. He looked really, really good in the rookie faceoff. Very confident with the puck. Very, very confident in his vision. Again, you draw parallels between him and Erik Karlsson's a much younger version of that, but his skating is so fluid. His eyesight, his ability to pick things out on the ice. And of course, he's very, very confident, almost overconfident sometimes, but he's got a lot of the same kind of chemical makeup, if you will, as Erik Karlsson does. So I wouldn't put it past Ryan Merkley to actually make the squad. So there might actually be two. However, I just want to call out all these guys that I think have a realistic chance. Not that any of these guys, not all these guys are going to make it, and some of them certainly have a better chance than others. But if somebody has a pretty good camp, who knows? Certainly, if there's an injury, maybe a call up or the seventh defenseman. Listen to these names here. So some of these guys were signed, and some of these guys are just kind of there, and they have NHL experience from previous seasons. But listen to this list of names, okay? And happens to be in alphabetical order. Benning, I think it's called C-Check or Chichek. Harrington, I think it was a PTO. Hatka, Nyatsev, or Kinyatsev, I guess. Megna, who was a big part of last season. He stepped up big time for the Sharks, I thought. Really opened some eyes. Merkley, Nutavara, who was a new signing. Shimmick, who's getting another chance here. I'll talk about him in just a second. And, of course, Marc-Edouard Vlasic. I think the nice thing for all of these players is that you're getting a brand new GM, a brand new coach. There's a clean slate, right? So all these guys are going to get kind of their first look by the whole staff here. So I think any one of these guys realistically has an opportunity that they may not have had the whole guard not been changed, right? If you have Bob Bugner still there, well, Bob Bugner's kind of already had an eye and a predetermined idea of how some of these guys he's already seen are going to play and whether or not he wants to pick them and put them on the roster, regardless of how their camp goes. When you're talking about Coach David Quinn, he's going to look at who's the hard worker, right? And who fits in and who's going to, we look at a guy like Shimmick. Shimmick's going to get a total fresh start here. We know from last season that there was going to be some back and forth on whether or not he was supposed to play because the GM was saying, well, it's the coach's decision. The coaches were saying, well, it's the GM decision. And we have to play the young guys. That's what each side was saying. And he's saying, well, somebody's lying to me, right? And it was this big thing. He played like 2 games in a couple months or whatever it was. And one of the games he played as a forward. So he's going to get that fresh start. And I think Shimmick's got a heck of a chance to make this roster because I feel like he's the type of guy that both of these guys in Mike Grier and Quinn both want on the team. He's the guy that's going to be tough to play against. He's a hard worker. He bangs. And he's not a liability on defense, really. So I think he's going to get a fresh start here. He's going to be much happier this season. I feel like he makes the roster. But again, there's a lot of guys here, and we didn't even talk about Knizhov. Knizhov, again, got healthy. It was actually cool. He was there with my kid with Coach Kathy, power skating. He was helping out as a kind of a guest coach, if you will. And shortly after that, has another injury, and he's going to be out for, months, I think now. So it's unfortunate. The poor guy. I feel really bad for him. Seems like a really good dude, but it's just not coming together for him from the health standpoint. But again, look at all these guys that have a realistic chance with brand new eyes on them to make the NHL roster here.
Yeah, and I like Taylor's comment here. Bold prediction. They're going to give Vlasic 24 to 25 minutes a game, and we're going to see a lesser version of the old Vlasic. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I don't think he's going to get that many minutes. I think he'd be closer to 20, probably 18 to 20 versus his, 12 to 15 that he was getting. I do think he's going to have a bounce back year, and they are going to need some workhorses because Karlsson's not going to be able to stay healthy if he's playing 30 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Vlasic is going to be in the top 4. I think he's going to be on that second pairing. And I think we are going to see a bounce back season. Now, it's interesting tonight. I don't know if you saw, the defensemen they rolled tonight, Harrington, Benning, Shimmick, Karlsson, Nutavara, and Onyebuchi.
Onibuchi. Somebody help me out. Spell it phonetically in the chat for us, please. This dude's a monster.
Mm-hmm. Absolute
monster. He's huge.
Interesting is there was a lot of power plays tonight. I don't know if you saw anything about tonight's game. Shimmick had 4 minutes of power play time. So I think they are giving him a fresh look. Like, hey, he scored some decent goals his very first year. You remember those? Like, he had some bombs that he hit, and I was like, wow, he's got a little scoring touch. Karlsson at 7 minutes, Benning at 6, and then Nutavara had 2. So they're shifting it around. I think they're trying to see they're probably like, okay, there's the second power play quarterback is up for grabs. Who wants it? Who's going to get it? Who can do something with it? So I think they're going to be doing that for the preseason. But we might see Vlasic, get some in the next game. I'm sure he's going to be playing the next game because they're going to rotate some guys around. So it'd be interesting to keep an eye on that power play time, because that second power play unit is going to need a quarterback. Karlsson's not going to be able to do full 2 minutes, I don't think.
I agree, but I mean, you did mention earlier that he was probably going to get like a minute 45 of the 2 minutes, so you really only need somebody out there for 15 seconds. That second unit is going to be pretty sparse anyway, so whoever it is, I think they just throw 2 defensemen out there and just wait for the 15 seconds to get up if they have a minute 45 worth of Karlsson. If they don't, though, I think again, if Ryan Merkley does make the team, he's a shoe-in. If not him, I think the next guy in line would be Mario Ferraro. I think Ferraro has shown he's got pretty decent vision. He's a guy that can hustle. If that puck happens to jump over the blue line, he's gonna get on his horse and get back. So I love the effort out of Mario Ferraro. I will never not love the effort from him. He is the guy that, if you're a young kid watching the San Jose Sharks play, first of all, we do get better. We've been better in the past. Just stick with us. But if you're a young player watching and you want to kind of emulate somebody's game, even if you're a forward, keep an eye on Mario Ferraro. He is the guy that he plays the game the right way. He is constantly moving his feet, and I can't stress that enough. He is always moving his feet. That guy never is just coasting around, just waiting for something to happen. He is the guy that is making something happen, or he's becoming the play. He's part of the play. He's never watching it. So absolutely love the guy. And I think if not Ryan Merkley, and if not a minute 45 of Karlsson, I think he's your man. So that's kind of my take on that. I do want to call out at 180 AD. I think he was already on the screen, but I want to put it again. Just tuning in. Love to see TFF back. Hey, man, we love being back. Thank you for joining us on our return here. And then I think Matt Lowe saying, staying on topic of playing style, Gadjevich, Kunin, Lorentz, and Sturm definitely fit the version of Grier, the vision of Grier, I should say. Yeah, absolutely. That's why he brought in Kunin and Sturm there. And then Lorentz, same thing. So Gadge is just returning, but for the most part, they're bringing in guys that fit that vision of how they want to play the game. So, and I like what you had said earlier, Aaron. Even if they weren't good in the past, they were at least entertaining. So maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we're buying these young guys, 3 years at the Barracuda level. That's where I want them there, because I have Barracuda tickets for 3 years. So I would love to see that happen. Let them bake, right? Get them well done. So I would love to see that. And then these are the guys that are going to make it entertaining, keep the fans going, because again, it is a business, right? We want to win, but you got to have butts in the seats regardless. So I think it's a good plan. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing both sides here, because I think they're both going to be pretty entertaining. Let's see. Go ahead.
Going back to Merkley, I don't think Merkley should go to the NHL. I think he should be the man at the CUDA. He should be Erik Karlsson on the CUDA, playing shorthanded power play minutes, getting 25 minutes a night, 30 minutes a night. And then that's going to build his confidence that he can hang and dominate AHL level. Now he's ready for the NHL level. So right. I think he would get more meaningful minutes, more learning experiences, and possibly even bulk up a little bit more, because he's still kind of small. And I don't think he can do the grind, the 82 game grind of the NHL and be well.
Speaking of still kind of small, our bank account, unfortunately, is a little bit small. So I just want to bring this up real quick. There's something, you like that one or what? There's something on screen here for the people on the podcast. You could tip us on Venmo if you're enjoying the show, or if you just want to help support, our bank account at the Fin Factor for Venmo there. You can also use the super chat, support us that way. So if anybody in there, do we have wait, oh my gosh, what's his name? Lundy. Wow, I almost forgot Lundy. If Lundy's here, I'm sure there you go. Taylor giving us $1. Thank you so much, Taylor. Appreciate that, buddy. You can put a comment in next time, we can read it for you. But thank you so much for the dollar super chat there. If anybody again would like to support the show, please feel free to do that in any of those two ways, I guess, either through the super chat or through the Venmo, again, at the Fin Factor on Venmo. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for reminding me, by the way, super producer Jason, because we tend to skip over that. So, Aaron, where do you want to go from here? By the way, Matt Lowe says Onyebuchi.
That's pronounced Onyebuchi.
That sounds like I shouldn't be allowed to say that right now.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Where is it?
Randy Hahn.
Where it's Anya Bucci. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's.
you got Anya Bucci.
And Taylor, by the way, for his $1, he put the comment. Thank you, Taylor, for your comment. Well played, sir. Yeah, so let's talk about some of the other stuff that's going on here. Improvements to SAP Center, sort of. The new arena scoreboard. We saw some pictures of this. Now, you actually got some pictures from a friend, and he said it was okay. Did you want to put those on screen now? Do
Sure.
we have that?
Yeah, we got him. This is Tyler. Tyler was at the game today, and he took pictures for us. He sent one. I said, "Hey, can we use this for the show?" And then he sent me this one with the selfie. He's like, "Yeah." So here he is. And here's the scoreboard. Now it's kind of cool. A lot of these places are doing this where when you're down low, you can't really see the scoreboard very well. So they put an extra kind of TV down underneath so you can see it. And also for the players can see it because they can't really see the scoreboard from the ice level. So it gives them a little bit of a bigger screen to look at for instant replays and whatnot. So a couple problems with this. I mean, this thing was installed, I think, last week. It's brand new and they just started using it. A couple problems, which I don't think they foresaw, and I'm sure they will fix. The lighting. The scoreboard casts a big shadow on the ice, and it's kind of distracting. Like, it's that bad that it's distracting. So I'm sure they'll add some lights and they'll fix that. Now, the other problem, what's his name? Geez, I'm blanking on his name. Capo Kakinen, after the game, he played tonight, said he couldn't see the time on ice for the power play when it was finishing to communicate it to the team, because usually the goalies are slapping their stick when the guy's coming out of the box, and they had no idea. So the referees and the linesmen had to keep telling him how much time was left because he couldn't see it. So I'm sure that will get fixed. That's just a software thing. They'll just have to move it around from part of the scoreboard, or maybe it's not even on there. I don't know. I'm sure it's got to be on there.
Got to
be. It could be just on the sides and not on end-to-end side, if you will. So I'm sure that'll get fixed. But yeah, it to me, like, well done, SAP. This is what, the third or fourth oldest building in the NHL, and yet it doesn't feel that old. It's a very nice upgrade. And I mean, not just for hockey too. They're going to use it for all kinds of other sports and events and stuff. So it brings it into more of the modern age, and it looks fantastic. I didn't really like the old scoreboard that was in that this one replaced. I remember when they put that in back and they basically upgraded from standard definition to high definition.
Yeah.
And the old one was awful. You couldn't see the puck on replays. It was the original one.
Yeah.
So then they put this last one in, and it was okay. It was obviously it was better. You could see better, but it still was just not quite nice. Like, you're just kind of like, that's a big TV. Cool. Now this is like, wow. It really changes the face, kind of, if you will, of the arena. So I think it's a very good investment into the SAP Center. And this, I mean, if you remember, a couple years ago, they invested in a new ice making during the lockdown, and then they've done some other upgrades to really bring it into the modern era. Yeah,
it was the piping underneath the ice, that whole thing of pumping the fluids in and out, and then also let's not forget the lighting, right? They did a lot with the lighting in the previous season. So not just the lighting coming down, but also in the seats, so that they can do some fun light show kind of type stuff. So more entertainment value. Super producer Jason, by the way, is saying he thinks that he saw a test of the board on social media photos, and the penalty clock is on the rounded corners, and that's why the goalie can't see it. So again, like you said, it's just a software thing. They're just going to drag it over and you're done. So I think that's an easy fix. Yeah. I do want to say, Kellen Foster bringing up a good point. When players flip the pucks out of the zone, it will hit the screen. Now, Kellen, I agree with you on that one, but I also I don't know if they care, because it's on the other arena, TextU arena, which we'll talk about after this next topic here. It looks pretty low too, so I don't think they're considering that the puck is going to hit it, and I hope that they did and they put something that's strong in front of it. I don't know, but that could be dangerous. If something breaks and is shattering and goes on the ice and everything, I don't know. So
I don't think it's glass. I think it's plastic. I don't think it would be like shattering where you're going to get shrapnel everywhere.
Pucks are pretty hard.
No. I'm talking about the screen.
Yeah.
If it hits it, it wouldn't shatter. It would be plastic coming down, not
Yeah.
glass.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm just saying plastic can be sharp and falling from that high up could be dangerous. But anyway,
They got helmets on. They'll be fine.
they do. Yeah. At least I won't have to zoom in to see Anya Bucci.
Sonic said,
Thank you,
I was
Kevin.
confused, but I assume that'll be fixed or maybe in that corner section by the time the season starts. It looks amazing, though. So that means you were there, huh? At the game?
What, Kellen?
No, Sonic.
Or Sonic. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we're done with that now. A bit of a hot topic a couple weeks ago, I would say.
You want to tell the story of what happened?
I'm afraid to tell the story because I like the people at the place that the photos weren't taken. So I don't want to get anybody in.
Now.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but like
it's at this point,
over now, right?
Matter. Yeah.
We good? Can I say? Okay. So I was going to. I saw that there were leaks. Okay, don't get me wrong. I saw that there were leaks of this is what the whole kit's going to look like. I didn't do that. It was somebody else. But I'm not like, okay, so like when it's shoes, you call them sneaker heads. What is it when it's jerseys? Jersey heads? I have no idea. Whatever. People that really are just, oh my gosh, jerseys are coming out. I'm not that guy, right? Like I enjoy it when they're already out. I'm like, oh, cool, it looks good. Or I see a picture, oh, that looks good, whatever. I don't like pay attention to when they've been released necessarily. I just see them on the shelf. Oh, they're on the shelf. So I'm not going to say the establishment. It's already said in the tweet, but I'm not going to say it out loud. I went to said establishment to get something entirely different, and I happened to see some other folks who also do podcasts, and the former head of a certain fan club, we'll say, was there as well, and they had their jerseys, and I didn't think anything of it at first. I was like, oh, jerseys, whatever, they're buying jerseys. Turns out that it was those jerseys. It was the new ones. And I was like, oh, they're the new ones. Wow, I didn't realize they were out. So I went over to the rack, saw it, took a picture, put it on socials. That blew up. And then apparently somebody came and had messaged us saying, hey, I just showed up at said establishment. And they said that they never had them out. So what's up? And we didn't bother responding to that because, again, I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. But yeah, I took a picture in that place and they were trying to cover their tracks because they weren't supposed to have put them out yet. That's not my fault. I was in a public space. I took a picture, right? So, but anyway, regardless, that's how the whole thing went down. But I guess really what I want to talk about is, do you like the jerseys there? And I think they look great. Now, the whole kit, I thought at first, man, this isn't going to look right. Teal helmets, teal gloves, teal pants. Are you kidding me? The whole thing just looked weird to me, right? But we went to the rookie face-off. Kind of changed my mind. I think it looked pretty good. Once you see it in action, it all kind of comes together. What did you think about not just the jersey, but the whole kit?
And that's exactly what I think Doug Benson talked about. And he's the head of marketing over there. That you need to wait till you see it on the ice because it looks different when you see not even a drawing, but like a mock-up of it, right? Or even just a picture of somebody wearing it, or just a picture like this.
My picture.
Like, oh, that's weird.
My picture, by the way. You saw this picture all over socials. You had other people putting their watermarks on it. Nicholas Egan, you're 100% right. Got to watermark those photos next time.
Yep. Boo. I blame you.
Anyway, honestly, I'm not as upset about it as I'm putting out over the mic here. It's no big deal.
I like the jerseys. I like new stuff. It's a new era. It's a new time. Why not new jerseys? I think this wasn't planned out that they were going to do it because of a new GM and a new coach and everything, because this takes years of planning. It was already going to happen at this point. But I like them. The all teal, do something different. They've never not had black pants. So change it. Do it.
Yeah.
And if the Sharks start winning, what if they make playoffs this year? Everyone's going to say, oh, it's the jersey. It's great. Like, I just think it's dumb. To me, I don't really put as much emphasis on jerseys. I don't really care. Doesn't like, yeah, I like some over others, but it's not like I don't throw a big hissy fit over like, oh, this jersey's hideous. I can't believe they do that. This is so dumb. It's like, come on, just relax. It's
the only time I threw a hissy fit about jerseys is when I thought they were going to go like full Euro and full like soccer, when they were just kind of like ads everywhere. Then I was like, let's not do that. But
it's still coming. It's supposed to, I think the right shoulder is supposed to have an ad, and I I think I saw Shang had mentioned that they haven't put it on yet. They haven't gotten a sponsor on there yet.
Well,
some teams have them right now, but
yeah.
the Sharks haven't gotten theirs on yet.
Speaking of Shang, I just want to call him out. I just got done saying all these people put it all over the place and they didn't give us any credit. Whatever. I really don't care. But I will say this: Shang Peng, thank you, buddy. True professional. Asked us first to use the photo. So just
a real journalist.
He's a real journalist. Thank you, Shang Peng, for using for giving us some kudos there. I appreciate it, and you will forever be in my heart. I don't know. I gotta find a way to segue this thing. What is this? Oh yeah, there you go. San Jose Hockey Now. Yeah, let's call them out. San Jose Hockey Now. This is who Sheng Peng writes for. If you're not subscribed to them, please do. They are awesome. Sheng is awesome. They do a lot of really good work. The stories that they do, the insights that they have, along with, of course, Corey Masisek of the Athletic. These are our two guys for sure. These are our go-tos for any information that we need or we're looking for, or the latest on anything happening. It's always coming through those two sources. But again, Shang, awesome dude. Okay, so we said we were going to talk about it already, but let's do it. Tech CU Arena, home of the Barracuda. It could have been Fin Factor Arena. We couldn't come up with the funding in time, Aaron. We tried. We really did. But
can you imagine? Can you imagine we win the lottery? We're just like, yeah, let's do it.
If I won the lottery, that's probably the first thing. Yeah, the more you know. That's probably the first thing I would do. I would say Tech CU.
Naming rights.
Yeah, naming rights. Thank you.
I want naming rights to an AHL arena.
Absolutely, and why not? What a way to blow a bunch of money.
So this arena is 4,500 seats, right?
I think so.
Bigger than where the Arizona Coyotes are going to be playing this year.
Has
more seats. Arizona Coyotes are playing. Arizona Coyotes are playing at the ASU Stadium.
Yes,
just a dump on the Coyotes because it's always fun. The state or the college is not allowing them to put their logo on center ice, so it's going to be an ASU logo, Sun Devils logo.
Yeah.
And it has less seats than the Tech CU Arena where the Barracuda will be playing.
Yes.
Do you think they'll sell out?
Do I think they'll sell out? Honestly, no. And I'll tell you why. I think it'll just take time. I think it'll take time for people to realize, oh, the Barracuda are actually really good. We should probably, get some tickets.
I was talking about the Coyotes.
Oh, the Coyotes?
Yeah.
Will they sell out? Hell no, they're not going to sell out. Are you kidding me? No, they're not selling out, dude. I'm sorry. And it was funny because for the rookie faceoff, which is where they held that at the Tech CU Arena. Marvelous facility, but they held that whole event there, except they had like a beginning game that was there. They had 3 games a day. The first game was at Tech CU. The second game was actually just kind of on one of the rinks that was existing at Solar for America, and they had just the bleachers that were there, and the bleachers filled up pretty well. And I made the joke that it's kind of intimidating for these Arizona rookies coming in because they're not going to see this many people, when they come in their own arena. So it's going to feel weird for them, right? But then the third game, obviously, they go back to Tech CU. So you kind of had to walk back and forth. It's kind of silly. But really such an awesome facility. I really can't say enough about it. The only thing I didn't like was and I know somebody already made fun of me for this, but I had my beer already and I was ready to have a little bit of coffee. There's like a latte dessert kind of area, right? The soft warm cookies, phenomenal. Okay. But the latte, when you try to get the latte, it's in a machine and it takes like 3 minutes. And if you get the wrong size by accident, then you have to wait another 3 minutes. And then the person in the line behind you goes, oh, I'll just take that one. And so anyway, it happened to me, but so there's a bunch of people online and they're all waiting for the coffees to get done. So it's a little bit slow. Hopefully they fix that. I'm sure they will, but everything else about the place, absolutely phenomenal. The bar that was behind, remember that we were talking about this before, the bar that was behind kind of the area where normally you'd have the Zamboni coming in and out. That whole setup is awesome. Really, really cool. You got a lot of people that are getting their drinks sitting up right up against the glass. There's like a big bar kind of thing going across it. And you get to have your drink and your whatever else for food that's sitting up there. And you're watching it from there. Just such an awesome experience. And I'm so glad that we're locked in for 3 years. I think it's going to be a really entertaining hockey, and especially with the kids coming up and everything. Our kids, I mean to say, being able to watch these guys kind of grow and become NHL stars. I think it's just going to be such a great place to be.
Yeah, it's awesome that it's so close too. Like, well, closer to my house, not like that, but just like they have their own space. They're out of now the arena, so the Sharks kind of have their own space, and I think it feels a little different, like, oh, you get called up, you're going to SAP Center versus going to the Tech CU. They're also building, and I don't know if they'd finished it yet, a new like practice facility, but also like amenities for the players, right? Weren't they building like a whole thing in the back? Remember we went on the tour a year ago? They're building a whole training area for the team, for both teams, probably the Barracuda and the Sharks. So it's getting like, their player development, which is what Grier is all about, is getting upgraded, the facility wise. So that's just going to help grow, I think, better players, obviously, and kind of a draw for other, free agents to come in and go, oh, wow, look at this new practice facility. It's amazing. It's great. And it also happens to be now the largest ice facility in North America, I believe, right?
Yeah. Has six sheets of ice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Think about it. Like there's nothing bigger in Canada. I know Canada just has frozen ponds everywhere, so you can play outside, but no other place in all of North America is bigger than this. It's also one of the largest adult hockey leagues, correct?
It is the largest in terms of memberships, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nuts. That's crazy. In San Jose. That's so cool.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go with a couple comments here. Nicholas Egan, back to the jerseys real quick. Becker said there's no jersey sponsor for the Sharks yet. No company has offered the right price yet. Okay. Taylor says, I personally hope they elect not to have the ads. I agree with the business side, but personally, not a big fan. And then Sonic Tonic, you're going to have to explain this one to me. I just hope you guys wouldn't forget us, the little people. We're the little people too, man. Like,
I think that's going back to our joke about putting the name on the arena.
Oh no, I'd totally forget the little people if I won the lottery. Yeah, absolutely. Because then I would be a big person at 5'7". So actually, more Sonic Tonic. It's beautiful. I love it. He's talking about Tech CU. It's going to encourage me to go to more CUDA games. So it's not only going to be a good way to bring up new players, but it's going to bring up more fans. I think it's a big draw, not just for players but for fans. So whether or not the team is good, the whole arena is just such a nice facility. It's going to make people want to come, I think.
What's your thought on the ad on the jersey?
The ad on the jersey, I don't like it. I mean, I understand. Again, it's a way for them to make money. I get that. I'm not saying don't make money. I guess what I am saying is there any way we could do that without having our jerseys look like a billboard? Like, if there is, let's do that instead. But if there's not, then okay, I guess if we have to have some extra source of income, then fine. But I would rather the jerseys look clean. So that's kind of my take on it, especially when you talk about if they're not willing to alter their logo from a color perspective to kind of match the jersey's color. Then like McDonald's, you want a big red and yellow M on your teal and white jersey. It just doesn't. I don't think it's going to look good. So
I don't know if you know this, but the NBA went through this a couple years ago.
Yeah,
and the exact same arguments that you're making or what.
Oh, really?
Saying. Yeah, like they want to match the team colors and all that, so it doesn't stand out. And it ended up being not a big deal. Like nobody cared. As soon as the season started, they're wearing it. Everyone's like, okay, whatever. Well, what it does is it brings in a lot of money. It's another opportunity to bring in more money, which is good for the league. You get more eyes on it, more advertising dollars, more opportunities for people to invest into the league, which means salary cap goes up. Everything just goes up. So I think it's great. I mean, I'm a soccer fan, so it doesn't bother me at all. Soccer's even ridiculous where it's all sponsor on the front of the jersey and then a very tiny logo on the corner. Hockey would never do that, but very similar to the NBA. The NBA has one. I think it's like on the, the jerseys for NBA are like a sleeveless one. It's like right there.
Yeah. Katie.
So much ad space ever for clean jerseys. I don't mind the ads at all. And then on top of that, like when you sell a jersey, you want the current jersey, and that sponsor could change every year. So it helps jersey sales because you don't want to have an old jersey with an old sponsor. You want the one that's current, that has the new sponsor on it, because that's what you're so used to seeing on TV and in person and everything else. So it's only a good thing. I don't think it'll stand out. I don't think it'll be ugly. I mean, you can go back and go, okay, well, I don't like advertisements on the boards. I want clean whiteboards. Why do we have ads everywhere? Why do we have ads by the blue line?
I don't
or
take the
center
boards
ice.
home with me and hang them up in my closet.
Center ice has ads going all the way around the center circle.
I don't take center ice home with me and hang it up in my closet. That's something I've purchased.
You
It is
can
mine. I want it to fit me the way that I want it
You
to fit
can
me.
buy a jersey without the ad on it, or
It's
take the ad
exactly what
off.
I ended up doing. I wouldn't buy a new jersey just because it says, McDonald's or Rakuten or whatever else. I would just get a nice clean jersey and then wear it every season.
You do you, boo.
I
You
will
do you.
absolutely do me. And I think I've got some other people here, Katie being one of them, who's going to do her and I'm do me. And now it's getting weird. So
Yep.
I think, who is it? Kellen had one comment here about ASU. He says that stadium for ASU is actually dope. You are so close to the action in that ASU stadium. Yeah. If you had 100 seats, you'd be pretty close to anywhere in the action. So I think the less seats, the closer you are. If we look at a football stadium, there's tons and tons of seats. They're pretty far away, right? Anyway.
I felt the same way when we were at Tech CU. I felt like we were really close to the ice.
But
we're in row 6.
Row 6. Yeah.
But still, like, you felt like it wasn't like spaced out where it, when it goes up where it's like far away, it's kind of steeper. So you're closer to the action. So it felt like, wow, you could hear everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no upper deck in there either. So it's smaller, but I felt very close to the action and it was awesome.
Well, you did bring up that we had talked about this previously, and the training room that we had talked about. I want to refer you guys to an old episode where we had talked about this. I don't know the actual episode number. I'm sure super producer Jason's gonna be right on top of that, and by the time I'm done talking, I will have a number for you. But it is in our Spotlight series. If you're interested in watching those ones, we kind of have, I guess, a spotlight, if you will, on certain things that are happening, or certain things with the Sharks and the Barracuda, for instance, like this arena. And we had a behind the scenes look when they were constructing it. There was just like, construction equipment everywhere. The seats weren't even in. The Jumbotron wasn't even in. Nothing was there. Super producer Jason has put it in the chat there. Spotlight on the arena for the Barracuda. You can go ahead and click on that link or copy and paste that link. And it'll take you right there. So the last thing here, Eklund, Bordeleau, Merkley, they shined in the rookie face-off. Very excited to see what these guys are going to bring to the Barracuda. I don't necessarily want to see them on the Sharks this season, so I would love to see, again, it's a selfish thing. Yes, somebody asked about it earlier. Yes, absolutely. I want to win a Calder Cup, okay? I want to win something, all right? If we can't win the Stanley Cup, I got to win something. So you load them up, okay? Let them bake. And let's go get a Calder Cup, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm excited for these three in particular. There are other guys that I think are going to come up as well that have a really good shot. By the way, it's not it's Brandon. I think we said it wrong. It's Coe. And you heard that over the PA when he got an assist or a goal or something. So we need to go full Dan Rizanowski on this and do it the right way. This is Coe as another guy that I'm very interested in seeing how he does. He's a pretty big human being as well. So
Eklund loves the spinorama. Nicholas Egan, the spinorama.
Yeah,
he scored a goal in overtime.
Eklund
with the spinorama.
Yeah. Eklund cut to the inside and then he did a little spin to the outside, then threw himself right back in, threw it short side, banged it in. Beautiful, beautiful goal. Yes, thank you, Nicholas, for bringing that one up again.
Eklund loves that move. He kind of dekes one way and then pulls it back and just tucks it in and spins around.
Hey man, if it works, it works. So
I'm not getting my hopes up for those guys, Eklund and Bordeleau, for making it this year. Yeah, they looked good in the rookie tournament, but they don't look like they're going to dominate in the NHL like they did in that tournament. Again, look at who they're playing against. They're playing against other teams' rookies. So I'm tempering my expectations because everyone was like, oh, these guys are great. They're going to be so dominant. They're going to be awesome. I don't think so. I still think they should be spending majority of their time down at the Barracuda level for the season.
Sure, I absolutely agree. Let's not discount just because they're rookies, because there's guys like what's his name, Bysted?
Yeah,
from I mean, there's some guys that are rookies but not really rookies, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, just saying. We have here a training camp. Now, we've gone on for almost an hour and 10 here, so we're trying to make this quick. Training camp. Anything in particular you want to talk about with the training camp?
Just that it started, and it was exciting because hockey's back.
I will add that they have fans are able to I saw that. They have fans able to come in and check out the training camp. So if you'd like check with Solar for America. It's the more you know. The check with Solar for America. Get that schedule, and if you want to come down and cheer on your favorite Sharks player, or if you want to maybe try to get an autograph here or there, perhaps it can happen. No promises. But yeah, go check them out. It's going to be fun to watch, and I think we'll have more, obviously, as the season's kind of moving on, and as not the season, but the training camp is moving on, as cuts are being made. So what is this? Great to see you guys back. Been missing you all summer. You guys seem better looking every time I see you. Well, thank you so much, CJ. Holy, yeah. Aaron's been using the turtle wax on that dome of his, so that's probably explaining why he looks so good. Me, I just naturally all the time. Anyway,
here we go, off the rails.
We're off the rails already. It's too late. And we have one more topic. Aaron, this topic is wait. Sonic Tonic says, Paul, I tweeted that picture to you after it came up on the new screen. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Off to the topic you will be talking exclusively about, Fantasy Hockey League. Take it away.
Running Fantasy Hockey League again. We currently have 4 spots open, and it's going to be a keeper league this time. And this is going to be on our new set. We have a shiny trophy with the Fin Factor logo on it. This is the glare there. But your name the winners will get their names engraved on said trophy if you win, and it'll be sitting on our set all season long. Probably forever at this point. So we got 4 spots open. We play in Fantrax. It'll be a $50 buy-in. It's gonna be handled all through there, and the way we have contracts. So just real briefly, you get 15 years to dole out to as many guys as you want. You can give one guy 15 years or 15 guys 1 year if you want. You do what you want. And this is our very first league, so it's a very first draft of a keeper league, which is very important because people will be excited about that since you get to really pick who you want. So yeah, if you want in, you can either direct message us on Twitter, email us at thefinfactor@gmail.com, hit us up on Instagram, figure it out. Send us a carrier pigeon. I don't care. We got 4 spots, first come, first serve. Keep the turtle wax in the buffer machine. So let me know, and I will see you in Fantasy Hockey. We have a very active group, and we use the chat feature in Fantrax a lot. So a lot of Sharks talk going on in there. It's a lot of fun. It's good. Good group of guys.
There are now 3 spots left because Taylor already says I want in. So chalk him up, and Taylor, just to be safe, why don't you go ahead and send that message, and Aaron will get right to it. If you want to get a hold of me more, it's usually Twitter, but I'm kind of handling more Twitter, and Aaron's handling more of the Instagram stuff. So if you want to make sure that it gets to Aaron, I would do it through Instagram. But do as you please. We'll, I'm sure, be able to go back and forth a little bit.
I just need your email address, so probably email would be the best, absolute best way.
Sonic Tonic. Oh man, I can't wait to see the new set. Yeah, me too. It's something that we've been working on kind of in a virtual space, and hopefully we kind of are able to accelerate that into the physical space sometime soon. I know that these things work, but it's a lot more fun to sit right next to Aaron and eventually hit him in the face with a pie. So,
we'll see.
There's that. No, we're not going to see anything. You're not going to see anything except a whole white cloud of whipped cream. And that's about it. So do I Venmo Paul? Yes, absolutely. My personal Venmo though, no, I'm just kidding. At the Fin Factor, if you want to go ahead and support the show. If you
no.
Thank you.
I think he's talking about for fantasy hockey.
Oh no, for fantasy hockey, just talk with Aaron. Aaron will walk you through everything.
Yeah, we'll do it through Fantrax. I got to set it up. It's not set up yet for payments, so I'll get that going, and I'll let you guys know. We do have to pay for that buffer machine somehow, so we would appreciate that. Will there be a pool table? I'm unaware of a pool table. That was at Bill's at my neighbor's house. Our old set that we used last year. There was a pool table. Remember?
Yeah. No, I remember for sure.
I think that's what he's talking about.
I'm reading comments. That's why. Anyway.
All right.
Cool. Well, hey, man, I think we've gone over our allotted time for sure. If you guys have been with us throughout this show, I guess, or if you're listening to the podcast throughout the podcast, thank you so much. We're really excited to be back. I'm so happy that we're able to do these shows again. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into the physical space again if we can. So I'm looking forward to the season, Aaron. I know I say it every single time. I'm not looking like I think we're going to be phenomenal or anything, but I think it's going to be entertaining hockey again, as you've said. And I think especially with the Barracuda, I think they're going to be very competitive. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. If you guys are going to the Barracuda games, again, we have season tickets. We're splitting it with 3, so there's a pretty good chance, a 2 out of 3 chance that one of us is going to be there. So, hit us up if you're going to be there at one of the Texas U games, one of the Barracuda games. So, any last comments here? Does the new set have a crotch cam? You know what? I thought about it. I really did. I thought about it just for nostalgia. Maybe the first episode we'll do it from the crotch up. If you haven't seen our shows from like the very first episodes, I don't recommend it, first of all. But maybe just put it on mute and just look at the crotch shots for a couple seconds, and then there you go. Fin Factor After Dark. Yes, Sonic Tonic. It was essentially that. And then CJ here saying, have a great night, guys. Glad you're back. Take care and see you soon. Again, thank you so much, CJ. Thank you everybody for tuning in, for being here with us. Again, really do appreciate it. Aaron, any last words here? Hashtag Fin Factor's back. Thank you, Nick.
Excited to be back and hopefully get into our new space, and we'll be doing more shows. So it'd be great.
Very good.
Maybe some new stuff this year. Different kind of format too. So we'll see. We're playing with some new stuff. Lots of new ideas getting thrown around. Obviously, some new looks going on here with the new backgrounds and whatnot. I do want to call out super producer Jason. Thank you so much for being the backbone of all this, man. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Being the backbone of all this, getting us set up with all the cool stuff. Really, if we can get some fire in the chat for super producer Jason, I'd appreciate it. He'd appreciate it, and super producer Jason would as well. Okay, so for super producer Jason, my name is Paul, and I'm Aaron,
and we will see you guys
next week.
It's crazy. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.